The NASCAR Xfinity Series heads out to Portland this weekend, but was Austin Hill fined enough for intentionally wrecking Cole Custer under caution? And Hailie Deegan has a new crew chief. Are these the changes that she desperately needs?
High, push it, checker flag, hell yeah! Woo! One hell of a job, man, one hell of a job. Woo! Yeah! Xfinity Series champion right here. Nice work, bud. Hell yeah, guys! That's awesome! Let's drink the beer. What do you think, Cole? I'm ready.
I know, gearheads, I know. It has been a hot damn minute since we did the pit pass, but welcome on back into the pit pass, your personal pass for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Yes, we're back. And I know, it's been a minute. I apologize for that. It's been crazy busy. I've been at Irwindale Speedway the last 2 Saturdays. I have another race this weekend out at Orange Show Speedway. You can watch on lowbudget.tv this weekend if you so choose. But yeah, lots of interesting happenings in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. So let's go ahead and jump right on into it. Chase Elliott did win out at Charlotte this last weekend, but I mean, that's fine. You know it's a big story when Chase Elliott wins a race and the entire NASCAR community and Chase Elliott fan base kind of goes, eh. Like, that's kind of what it was. I mean, no offense to Chase Elliott fans, but it wasn't headline grabbing, it wasn't attention seeking because so many more things happened this weekend. But sincerely, congratulations to him. It's a big win for Hendrick Motorsports in what was a not stellar weekend with Kyle Larson's not double happening over the weekend. But you know what? It's still a pretty cool win to see that number 17 back in victory lane in the shadow of Hendrick Motorsports, essentially 2 miles away from their shop. It's a big, big, big win. They had a lot of Hendrick Motorsports people out there, so congratulations to them sincerely. But the story of the weekend was Austin Hill fined $25,000 and 25 driver points for intentionally wrecking Cole Custer under caution. Now, how did this start? Where did it start? Who's in the wrong? Well, I mean, technically, Cole Custer may or may not have driven Austin Hill into the wall coming off of 4. I don't see it that way personally. I view it as a racing incident. It gets very tight, very loose off of turn 4 at Charlotte, and I think it was a little bit more of a racing incident where it necessarily wasn't anybody's fault. It was just circumstances, but Austin Hill decided, you know what, I'm going to make this my issue and take this 100% personally because it's Austin Hill's world. We're just living in it. Anybody who roughs his fender or doesn't give him the position is all of a sudden public enemy number 1 in his head and puts a target on their back. And that's Austin Hill 101. He expects teammates to literally roll over for him. He expects everybody to kind of roll over for him. And let me remind you, Austin Hill is a paid-to-race driver. He is paying Richard Childress, or more specifically, bringing in his own sponsorship to that organization to be in that 21 car. Yes, Richard Childress does think that he is a good driver and does pride himself on that, but I think he's more happy about the fact that he doesn't have to pay Austin Hill a single penny out of his pocket and gets a driver who races his cars. Personally, from a business standpoint, I'm a little bit happier with that too. I don't blame Richard, but that's who Austin Hill is. He's a guy who is paying to be in this series because I don't think anybody would want him otherwise. Being serious, because he does carry a lot of ego, he does carry a lot of drama with him, and he does get into on-track and off-track antics when things don't go his way, and he takes his anger out on everybody else and for some reason lies to the media about this anger. So that's more or less what he did Saturday. He got out and said, oh yeah, it was all Cole Custer. I don't know what happened. But basically, after the incident in turn 4, Austin went down into turn 1 and claimed that the tire was down, and it was down, it was cut down, but I think Austin Hill went into that corner with the anticipation of getting into Cole Custer and fencing him. It screamed that. He was already on him by the time the tire went down and never let off of him. And then once they both wrecked in 2 and they were going down the back straightaway under caution, Austin Hill felt, I'm going to go ahead and just lift your rear tires off the ground and continue to push you down the back straightaway. Keep in mind, while other cars are passing by, and Austin Hill purposefully turned the 00 with Cole Custer across the racetrack in front of other cars that were coming by and safety vehicles which were on the track. I'm sorry, whenever you use your car as a weapon, 1 race suspension at minimum is required, and NASCAR didn't do that here. Now, I think that there's a little bit of favoritism here. I think that everybody looked at this and went, oh, this is an RCR driver. Ooh, Richard. Ooh, he's one of them good old boys. Yeah, good old boys. Ooh, we can't find that good old boy. No. That's more or less where this came from. I think this should have been at least a $50,000 50 driver owner points, not 25 and 25. I feel like that's way too low for what this is. I don't care if it's the Xfinity Series. Austin Hill should be sitting out a race, if not more. And since we're talking about waivers so much, championship waiver denied. You screwed up. You turned a car on your own accord across the racetrack when other cars and safety vehicles were on the track. I don't care. Austin Hill should not only be suspended for at least one race this weekend at Portland, but he should not be allowed to compete for the championship in 2024 with Richard Childress in that 21 car. I'm sorry. That is the reality. That is the message NASCAR needs to send here. Instead, the competition is saying, you know what? It's fine. Go ahead. Turn your car across the racetrack, hook a guy on the backstretch, send him into the wall, destroy the car, and, you know, if another driver's caught up in it, if one of our safety members is caught up in it and it mortally injures them, that's okay, because, you know, we're NASCAR. Not cool. I'm just saying, I'm frustrated. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And I know you're going to blow up my comments with this next story. Hailie Deegan. Yes. Already the comments are on fire and somebody's pissed off because a woman's racing in NASCAR. Listen, man, she's a rookie, and I cannot stress that enough. Y'all put this anticipation that she's going to go out there and win the race and every week and go out there and qualify for the playoffs in her rookie year. She's not. She's not. She's a rookie with a team that is very young. They're only in their second full-time year in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Oh, by the way, they just let go their crew chief. Joe Williams was let go this last week. Matt Lucas, who is the interim crew chief for Hailie Deegan, while they look for a new full-time crew chief over there. I liked Joe Williams. I think that veteran crew chief with rookie driver tends to work out more often than not. Maybe the chemistry wasn't there. Maybe management over at AM Racing didn't like what they were seeing out of Joe. But 12 races in, average finish of 25.5 and a 12th place at Dega was her best finish of the year so far. I mean, listen, she's in a not great rookie year. I mean, what'd y'all expect? NASCAR doesn't allow that much practice. She is literally learning on the fly, and a simulator can only do so much work. That car has never been competitive, but some reason you're putting, a lot of fans are putting expectations on her of go out there and win the race every week, and that is not the reality of a rookie driver in this series. Now, maybe next year, maybe the following year, she'll actually be running top 5 and contending for wins here and there, but it's not happening this season, and this is a build-up year. Next year is going to be the, we're finding some speed year, but this year is survive, get through the year, learn as much as you can, make the mistakes now, because this is the throwaway rookie year, and that's just the reality of the situation. All the best to Hailie Deegan and everybody over at AM Racing. I do think that that team definitely has the potential to at least be a top 10 car. I really question what the Ford is going to look like in the series after this season because, and here's our next story, Stewart-HAAS Racing announced this week that they are closing up their shop at the end of the 2024 season. 4 NASCAR Cup Series teams are shuttering. Those charters are being sold essentially to the highest bidders. 3 of them already have homes. 1 of them is still kind of in discussions and in flux. And right now, the NASCAR Xfinity Series team, which fields cars for the 00 of Cole Custard and the 98 of Riley Herbst, are technically both for sale right now. That essentially Xfinity Series organization is up for bidding right now. It's up to whoever wants to buy that. And there were rumors that Stewart-HAAS could continue as Tony Stewart Racing in just the Xfinity Series. I would love to see that. I'd love to see Tony Stewart continue to field cars in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, but they're losing their Ford sponsorship and support at the end of this season, and they were already barely getting any support from Ford as it is, and I don't think Tony Stewart can really afford to put this car on the racetrack without a really solid partner with a manufacturer and OEM, and doesn't have the support it looks looks like to continue past this season. So they're closing their doors. It is extraordinarily unfortunate. 300 people currently looking for jobs for next year, and it's really tough. It's really sad, to say the very least. But at the end of the day, that was Ford's powerhouse team in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Again, Front Row Motorsports, Penske Racing, these are the new Ford top teams in the Cup Series. They don't have NASCAR Xfinity Series programs. Maybe it's potentially possible that we could see a Penske or a Front Row purchase up this Ford team and their assets from Stewart-HAAS, and we could see Front Row field cars in the NASCAR Xfinity Series for Ford or Penske. Penske had a really great program until their driver kind of graduated to the Cup Series, but I don't see either one of them really expanding. Maybe Front Row, if any of the two, but it leaves kind of a power vacuum for Ford in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And really, they didn't really have a great footprint in the Truck Series either. So really, somebody's got to be looking for a Ford partnership for next year right now. Maybe that means more assets going to AM Racing and other Ford organizations right now, but I don't see it. But it's murky, to say the very least. We're going to have to wait to see how silly season plays out. This is one of the biggest silly seasons we've seen in recent memory, so it's going to be interesting at the very least. Now, checking the racing calendar for this weekend, heading out to Portland, the road course that a lot of fans have mixed feelings about. I love the fact that this area has a NASCAR Xfinity Series race. I wish the Truck Series was going up there this weekend. I think that would be very cool. Expect your A.J. Allmendingers, your Shane Van Gisbergens to be very good this weekend. If they aren't, if both of those drivers aren't top three, it's a disappointing weekend, period. They both those drivers should be top three. It does mean that you're not going to get those Cup bushwhackers, as we called them back in the day, heading on down to the series. But it should be a really good race Saturday at 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific on FS1 if you want to go ahead and check that out. It should be a pretty darn good little race. We're going to be back, God willing, next week to kind of recap everything. This show's back on a weekly basis. It's been a crazy few weeks with me at the racetrack more often than not. Thank you to everybody who came out to Irwindale last weekend for the Night of Destruction. And if you're heading out to Orange Show Speedway in San Bernardino, California this Saturday night, welcome. Come on out. It's going to be a good time. I hope it will anyway. And if you can't make it out to San Bernardino this weekend, you can always watch on lowbudget.tv. And it should be a pretty good race this weekend. I'm hoping it is anyway. But you can always go ahead and leave me a comment down below. I want to hear what you have to say about Hailie Deegan's new crew chief, about the Austin Hill find, about Stewart-HAAS Racing. Where do you think that Cole Custard and Riley Herbst will end up next season? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're there, make sure that you mash that subscribe button so that you do not miss an episode. And of course, log on to arnrace.com for the latest motorsports news. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. I want to thank you so much for watching. For the Pit Pass, I'm Alan Bailey. We'll see you at the track.